I want to very briefly touch upon Alex Belfield. We find an image of Alex Belfield. And just to be very clear here, I have no skin in the game. I have no animosity with Alex Belfield. I've never worked with him. And I don't really know him other than the fact that he was imprisoned. And let me just find an image if you're not familiar with him. But the one thing that I think is really important is to be very clear about why he was in prison. So he's now out of prison and he was released, I think, last Thursday. And what he is claiming is he's comparing himself to Lucy Connolly. Well, some people think Lucy Connolly is a psyop straight off the bat anyway, but he's comparing himself to Lucy Connolly. And Lucy Connolly, of course, is the mother who was in prison for her tweets. And he's talking about how we are weaponizing free speech. And all of this is spot on right, but he was not imprisoned for free speech. That isn't accurate. He was convicted of stalking 4 men. And there are, I think, at least 8 restraining orders against him involving 8 people. He was an obsessive and very dangerous stalker who I would not want to have been on the receiving end of. He sent thousands of emails and threats. And the way he used YouTube was actually secondary to what he was doing behind the scenes. And I think we're in danger when we misunderstand what has taken place, because if we automatically take it that he was in prison for free speech, that will then create a climate on social media and in making videos where people will automatically seek to self-censor themselves. And I don't think we should do that. We must be absolutely aware why he was imprisoned. And some of the things that he did were really egregious. He stalked one man for 9 years, a former friend of his, and who he'd worked with at BBC Nottingham. I don't know these people. As I say, I have no skin in the game. I'm just simply telling you the facts of the case because the facts are important. And that is the reality. He contacted these people. He threatened them. He threatened repeatedly to sue them. And it went on. And he made videos about them. And he encouraged his followers to also stalk them. And a lot of people like to use Jeremy Vine as the reason that Alex Belfield is inside. That is simply not the case. Jeremy Vine was at the absolute bottom of what was considered the problem with Alex Belfield. Actually, the people who Alex Belfield was primarily in prison for was a man called Bernard Spedding, another man called Hewis, can't remember his first name, but he's a theatre critic. And Alex Belfield just took slights from these people and then targeted them very substantially. And nearly a decade with one man is not about free speech. No, it isn't. So, you know, I'm absolutely aware that there are some people who watch my channel and will watch his and will take it that he was imprisoned for censorship. That is not true. And I will not allow people to be misled from my platform because I think that's wrong. And the thing, you are absolutely entitled to hold and express your views. And one of the sentencing remarks from the judge was, I'm not imposing sentences on you because you made comments about the BBC or about matters of public interest. Your sentences reflect your repeated and personal harassment of the victims and not your views on any issue of public interest. Now, just to be clear, I actually thought his imprisonment term was excessive. So I want to be clear about that. I thought that was excessive. And I thought there may be an aspect of stick it to him there. But he wasn't in prison to do with free speech. And as I say, Jeremy Vine was absolutely at the bottom of the pile and was found that the charge against Alex Belfield to do with Jeremy Vine was a much lesser charge than all the other men. That is the reality. So there you go. I just want to say that because I hate seeing people misled. I don't like seeing people misled. And I also worry very much. We already live in a climate where people are scared to speak truth to power. We don't need people coming out of prison and saying, I was in prison for speaking truth to power. You weren't. You were in prison for stalking. And we must be very clear about that. Right. And I get it. Look, I understand people. Right. I understand that some people find him amusing. He's not my kind. I find him a bit like a kind of sort of Bernard Manning type character, that kind of comedian. But as I said at the start, I have no skin in the game. I've not fallen out with him. I don't know him. I just wanted to correct what people are saying, because obviously the truth counts. The truth matters. And I don't want people self-censoring themselves because they think that they're going to befall the same fate that befell Alex Belfield. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay, where are we? No, Hippie Witch, I'm not wrong about him. I've been through the entire judgment. I'm not going on media hype. That's silly. I've looked through the judgment. More's the point. Have you read the judgment, or are you going on what he says and media hype? Because the judgment is all that counts. And the judgment is about stalking. It's not about freedom of speech. And anybody who promotes that it's about freedom of speech and censorship is misleading you. And you must ask why. So there you go. That's just my feeling on it. But you are, of course, entitled to your own opinion. That's the great thing about Wake Up, right? Is we are entitled to our own opinions around here. And I think that's important.